And I have the pleasure now to recognize two youth delegates from Sri Lanka. You have the floor.
Madam Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, fellow youth delegates. Most of us here have dreams and aspirations, no different to the dreams and aspirations that many of you would have had as you started on your life's journey. We also dream of a good life, better opportunities, and certainly a safe and peaceful world to live in. We are, however, aware that while we are the future of every country, we will also both benefit and be burdened by the successes and mistakes of the present. As soon as we were selected as the country's youth delegates to the 68th UN General Assembly, we, like many of the youth delegates here, traveled across our small island, meeting and talking with youth from diverse backgrounds. The issues that seemed central to their lives were a quality education, more opportunities for self-advancement, job security, gainful employment, social inclusion, and peace and stability. Rajiv, a youth from the Central Province, said, "We want a better education and proper career guidance. We want a more career-oriented education so that we have greater socio-economic mobility. It should not be limited to books, but to real life. I want a job in the public sector, which is more stable and provides job security," said Chatura from the Southern Province. He explained that a lot of their peers looked for job security and were less enthusiastic about pursuing careers in the private sector or being self-employed. When asked how this situation could be reversed, Chatura said that there should be proper career guidance and skills training. I must mention that we were inspired by the ASEAN Youth Volunteer Program, comprising young professionals who would volunteer their expertise and skills in rural development. Sri Lanka could set up a similar youth volunteer program that could also provide career counseling to youth in the rural and disadvantaged areas. We would be happy to take this meaningful concept to the Youth Parliament of Sri Lanka. In order to increase our employability and productivity, Sri Lanka's first policy step was to amalgamate the Ministry of Youth with the skills development institutions of the country. Training and capacity building is being provided to complement needs and demands of the local, regional, and global labor markets. This effort is also made in partnership with the private sector. Sri Lanka has also continued with its state-funded free healthcare and education from primary to tertiary levels to sustain the very high human development levels and our productivity. Madam Chair, allow me to give the floor to my fellow youth delegate, Adhil.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Traveling through the northern province, I met Shiva, who said, "I want others to consider me as one of their own. We have been living in this part of the country for years, and we belong here. There should be more opportunities given to us so that we feel a sense of dignity and feel more included." Shiva, like many of us in our generation, is overcoming the pain and the scars of a 27-year-old terrorist war. As recognized in the Lessons Learned and Reconciliation Commission report, the Youth Parliament of Sri Lanka is a platform for reconciliation and progress. It also serves as a sounding board for national lawmakers and provides a structured process for active youth participation in the national decision-making processes. The newly integrated chamber, the Senate, further nurtures diversity and inclusivity. The Youth Parliament is an important avenue for Sri Lanka's youth to gain capacity, policy expertise, leadership qualities, and civic values. Together with the over 10,000 rural youth-led organizations, we have become active partners in our communities. We are also happy that the former child combatants have been rehabilitated and reintegrated with their communities, that they were treated as victims and not as perpetrators. While this is important for national reconciliation, social inclusion of rehabilitated youth continues to be a challenge. There has been a change in outlook or perception among our political leaders and policymakers regarding youth involvement in decision-making processes. They seem to have recognized that Sri Lanka's youth need opportunities to participate and contribute. We have been able to convey to our policymakers and political leaders that engaging youth, consulting with them, results in better policy formulation and implementation, including evaluation that helps to fill policy gaps. They in turn seem to increasingly recognize that it is only by engaging us that they will understand our frustrations, expectations, and aspirations, or issues related to our everyday experiences, either in education, health, or the labor market. There have been two outcomes of this realization. First, the national policy of Sri Lanka is being reviewed and reformulated through an open national multi-stakeholder consultation process. More progressive than ever before, it recognizes the need to advance quality education, including upgrading the quality of vocational training skills development. It also has a greater focus on sexual health and education and reproductive rights. Second, Sri Lanka has volunteered to host a World Conference on Youth in 2014. This indeed is a significant moment for Sri Lanka and for Asia, as it would be the first World Conference on Youth to be hosted in our region. The conference will be a meaningful platform for all stakeholders to come together to review the progress of the MDGs and discuss ways and means to mainstream youth participation in the formulation, implementation, and follow-up to the post-2015 development agenda. It will also be a tremendous opportunity for Sri Lankan youth to meet and interact with their compatriots beyond the shores of Sri Lanka. As our world becomes more interconnected and as we collectively navigate through our shared challenges, strong leadership has never been more important. We will continue to ask our leaders and policymakers to enable us to cooperate at the regional and global levels to promote youth interest and share best practices through volunteerism, activism, and creativity. The hopes of new possibilities, of opportunities in the wake of peace in Sri Lanka have also increased. Sri Lankan youth have immense potential. We have determination and resilience to face challenges and move forward towards achieving common goals. We thank you, Madam Chair.
I thank the distinguished youth delegates from Sri Lanka, and I give the floor now